Baltimore Ravens need to pay Lamar now because he is worth over $1 billion. As all Ravens fans know, Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens are at a contractual stalemate. Though we don't know the specifics because they both have been doing a good job of not leaking information, we do know that the Ravens need Lamar Jackson more than Lamar Jackson needs the Ravens, and that Ravens fans want Lamar Jackson to be on their team for the next couple of years desperately. There are several lenses we could use to see the importance of Lamar Jackson for the Baltimore Ravens. And we're going to talk about a couple of them here, and at the end of the video, I'm going to tell you why the big reason that people are against Lamar Jackson getting paid are wrong. First, let's talk about football.
Are you ready to play football?
Lamar Jackson is one of the best football players in the world, and we know this simply by looking at him play. In his very short career, we know a couple things about Lamar. Every time he's healthy, he makes it to the playoffs. We also know that the Ravens asked Lamar Jackson to do more with less than any quarterback in the league who's performing at an MVP level. Let's just take some of the best in account currently. The Super Bowl champion quarterback, Matthew Stafford, has Cooper Kupp and Odell Beckham, not to mention one of the greatest young minds at coach. People would argue that Patrick Mahomes is currently the best quarterback in the game. However, Patrick Mahomes had Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill, and of course, Andy Reid to help him along his journey. Currently, Lamar Jackson has Mark Andrews, but we know that having your tight end as your best receiver is something of the past, and the new NFL is continuously pushing out more and more great receivers. Brady has Evans, Godwin, and Julio Jones. Josh Allen has Stephon Diggs. All of the best quarterbacks have a team around them much more than Lamar has. And though the Ravens receivers are young, they're still hungry to prove themselves, but currently they are not at the same level as these other quarterbacks have. So we know that Lamar is doing more with less. Also, let's not forget that his impact is not just in the passing game. The reason that our running game has been so effective is because of Lamar Jackson. No other quarterback can say that, with the exception of Josh Allen. The reason that the Ravens' pass game is what it is because Lamar Jackson. And though many people think Lamar Jackson passing is not up to snuff with other quarterbacks, if you look at the stats, you can see that he is a top passer in the league, for sure. Definitely top 10. Also, when it comes to running, he's number 1. Putting that all together, he becomes a quarterback that is literally holding up the offense single-handedly. Let's look at some of the top paid quarterbacks on the list. If you look at this list, there are 3 quarterbacks that undoubtedly carry their team as much as Lamar: Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, and Aaron Rodgers. All the other quarterbacks have systems or other players that are helping push things along. Some of them have great head coaches that are schemers and play callers. All this together shows that Lamar is pushing the team by himself and is the engine of the team and deserves to get paid like these other quarterbacks. In addition to the football on the field, off the field, Lamar Jackson is in a realm of his own. When it comes to most popular players, Lamar Jackson is the top 10 popular player. When it comes to jersey sales, Lamar Jackson is in the top 10 of jersey sales. When it comes to tickets sold, Lamar Jackson is the sole reason that the Ravens sell as many tickets as they do. When it comes to ticket sales, no one's buying a ticket to see the defense. No offense, Marlon Humphrey. Also, no one's buying a ticket to see coaching. No offense, John Harbaugh. We're coming to see Lamar Jackson. And last year was a perfect example of Lamar Jackson carrying the team as far as he could with all the injuries. Lamar Jackson is a special player, and the ticket sales, the revenue from jerseys, the revenue from merchandise, all say that about Lamar. And though the Ravens are a top-notch organization with or without Lamar Jackson, it's undoubtedly true that when you have a special player, they are the ones that are responsible for helping the organization grow and flourish. Currently, the Baltimore Ravens are worth $3.4 billion according to Forbes. Now, a lot of this, of course, was done without Lamar Jackson over the years as NFL teams often increase in value. However, in this world of football, you're only as good as your last outing. And because of Lamar Jackson, the Ravens have been consistently good. Again, You make money when you win, and Lamar Jackson is the biggest reason that the Ravens win. And I love it as a Ravens fan. And that brings us to my last point of why the Baltimore Ravens need to pay Lamar. If you don't agree with the fact that he's worth $1 billion just from ticket sales, winning football games, and all the other things that he's responsible for, let's agree that some things are priceless, like the connection to the fan base. Do me a favor, we're gonna watch this clip and you tell me something that you see about Lamar Jackson that other quarterbacks who've worn Baltimore Ravens uniforms do not have. This here was an amazing view at the power of Lamar Jackson. The fans love him. The community loves him. The city loves him. Okay, when we are on TV, the commentators love him. Everyone loves Lamar Jackson. And just because of that, having Lamar on the team for years to come is worth it because you'll always have a loyal, die-hard fan base because you have a player that embodies the city of Baltimore. Now, many people will simply say the one thing about Lamar Jackson is you can't pay him because he's a running quarterback and he may get hurt. And it's interesting to say that because, again, there are other running quarterbacks that are getting paid and no one has a problem with them. Kyler Murray just got paid. Josh Allen just got paid. Also, another thing to take into account when it comes to Lamar Jackson running the ball is that Lamar Jackson is running the ball for a reason. What is that reason? Watch this clip here from Pro Football Focus explain the type of running Lamar Jackson does.
Colin Kaepernick, more than half of his rushing yards, even in his explosive 2012 year, were on scrambles. Tyrod Taylor, 75% of his rushing yards under Greg Rowe, that they were on scrambles. And you can find this on pff.com within the lead subscription. Lamar Jackson in his 2019 record-breaking season for a rusher in the NFL, 38% of his rushing yards were on scrambles, meaning 62% of his production in the run game was design stuff.
This shows you that Lamar Jackson is not running from scrambles. Lamar Jackson, most of his run plays are called runs. If you don't want Lamar Jackson to get hurt, lower the amount of called run plays you have for him. Now again, we know that this is the most important part of his game currently, but Lamar has the skills to throw the football. He's underrated as a thrower, and sometimes we get caught in these narratives, which is why people still see him as a quarterback that can only run the ball. Again, if you look at the stats and you look at games such as the game where he faced the Colts and brought us back from the pit of death, he did it throwing the ball. He can do it. Give him a chance. And the way that you give him a chance and you show him his value to this city, to this team, and to the NFL as a whole is you pay Lamar Jackson now. Thanks for watching and subscribe to the Raven Space for more great Baltimore Ravens videos. Thanks. Go Ravens.